Yeah, I mean, that's in a way my signature style. I mean, I love playing with the rules of perspective. I've always been fascinated by perspective drawing. Already as a kid I started doodling and decorated my exercise books at school when I was a bit bored at school. And yeah, I've always been fascinated by perspective. So basically, when you know how to play according to the rules, say when you know how to do accurate perspective drawings, then of course you discover the fun of playing with the rules, breaking the rules, creating your own rules in a way. So that's why I do my cityscape images, where I curve the horizon, I let things pop out, things which are more important, which will be there in the foreground and will be very prominent, and yeah, that's how I work.
London seems to be your muse. Why do you love London? Why is London so nice to draw?
Well, generally speaking, I'm a big city person, so I've always loved big cities, the hustle and the bustle. And of course, I mean, London is a perfect example. It's a very busy metropolis, and as I said, I love London. I love the cosmopolitan mix, and the great mix of old and new, of modern buildings and historic architecture. So it's a very inspiring place.
And are you surprised that your art has become pretty much everything from mug to poster to cufflinks?
Not
to jigsaw puzzle?
To jigsaw puzzle? Yeah, not really actually. I mean, we have our gallery shop here in Greenwich, and there we can also like test and try different designs and different products, and we've got a wide variety of products now, and it seems to work very well on lots of different products. So yeah, and especially jigsaw puzzles I find are a perfect medium for that, because when you really want to understand and take the detail in of a drawing, you either have to redraw it yourself, which maybe not everybody could do, or you do it as a jigsaw puzzle, because that means that you really need to sit down carefully and analyze it, take the time to study the detail. So that's why I think the artwork, as intricate and detailed as it is, works perfectly well on jigsaw puzzles.
So, looking at your artwork, it doesn't look like you see it on the poster there. It looks like a tracing drawing. Tell me about how it goes from this to poster.
Basically, maybe then it would make sense
No,
to
stay. It's just kind of used from that. I just want a quick explanation that you
right,
trace
okay,
it and then put colours in later.
Okay, then I'm going to have to dismantle this.
No, it all won't work. It has to stay the same.
Okay.
Just in words, just say what happens. So you've got that, and then put colour in later.
Okay, basically, I always start now with a little layout sketch. So it will be the same ratio, the same proportions as the final drawing, but of course in a smaller scale. So I would already define which area I'm going to show. Then I would start with a curved horizon, then maybe the river, because of course here in London we always have more or less always there's the River Thames. So I would then try to find the most dynamic vantage point, the best angle. Project a rough street layout on top of this part of the globe, and then I scan this sketch, enlarge it and print it, which is this one here, to the final size of the image, and then this is my underlayer and my guideline that I gave for myself. And then I really need to start with a rough sketch, arrange the given landscape, the given cityscape as a composition, to really also make sure that the prominent landmarks stand out, that nothing important gets lost. And then I develop every single building or group of buildings step by step, from a rough first draft where a building is maybe just only a rough volume, a cube or a blob. And then I develop it by tracing over it time and again. So every time I can make sure that lines I'm already happy with, I can keep them. And if there is something where I think, oh, this is not quite right yet, then I can correct it. And then of course, step by step, I can then also add more detail. I can do the fine-tuning. I can really work on a building as long as I want until I'm completely, absolutely 100% happy with everything. And then in the end, I've got, like you see here, lots of different bits and parts which then I need to bring together to have one big contiguous line drawing. So I would retrace everything, then with a real fine liner pen, very meticulously. And this would be the final drawing in the end, which I scan, and then I have to scan it in several steps, take the scans, put the scans together, make sure everything's perfectly aligned, clean the seams between the scans, and then I can start the digital colouring process, which also takes some time, because then, bit per bit, I need to drop the colours.
Did you ever think from, you know, a small stall you'll ever become into a big shop?
Not really, I must admit. I mean, I was surprised myself. First of all, I was surprised myself when I sat down and did the first big drawing of London looking north, because Isaac pestered me for quite a long time. So when that one was finished, it was a bit of an eye-opener for myself, because until then, I've always enjoyed drawing and sketching, but I had never worked for such a long time on one single piece of artwork. And put so much time and effort into it. So I was quite surprised what I was capable of. And then from there it somehow took off. So on a small scale first with a few little products, just a few greeting cards, postcards, melamine coasters, which we sold with our market stall down here in Greenwich. And then the product range grew and we moved into our first little shop. It was nice to suddenly have wall space where we could also display the artwork, the prints, the canvases as artwork for the walls. So from a market stall we were immediately lifted to a gallery with artwork and merchandise. Yeah, and I think a year later or so, also that gallery space became too small and we had to find new premises, the ones which we're in now, where we have the basement, which currently we still use as storage space, but soon we hopefully can open that as exhibition space as well.
Do you think you'll ever get bored of drawing London?
Not really, no. I mean, London is such an ever-changing, ever-evolving place. I mean, it keeps changing all the time. So I think, also in that respect, I'm here in a perfect place because London will make sure I will never run out of work. Because as soon as an image is finished, like London looking west now, with the shark, with the cheese grater, with the walkie-talkie, with the pinnacle, something new will come up, and then in a few years' time, it's time again for a new view.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.